अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। गौरसचरित्रामितनिधि गौरं सर्वं ददे गौरेण प्रथितं रहस्य भजनं गौरं सर्वं ददे गौरस्ति कृपालुरात्रि न पर गौरस्य भृत्य स भवाम गौर गौरमचरामि भगवान् गौर प्रभु रक्षमम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनविरह कातराजुवाह पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तर्वो विनेदोस्तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेवी प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna to everyone. We were hearing Shiv Bhajan Rasya by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But today is very auspicious, very special day. So I want to speak some glories of Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj, a prominent disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Jive Daya Kori Saparsha Swadham Sahavatari. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu philosophy, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mat is propagated by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, the length and breadth of the whole universe. Just like when Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears, and he makes his all associates also appear with him. Similarly, one of the prominent associates of Mahaprabhu is Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who also made appearance of his close ones, appearance of his dear ones, his own associates, who contributed a lot in the preaching movement of Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So all acharyas are glorious and their contribution is unparalleled. They worked day and night so hard to spread the message of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So everyone took some responsibility. Some took responsibility of establishing centers. Some took responsibility of publishing books. Some took responsibility of preaching. Some took responsibility of showing how to perform intense bhajan. So everyone has contributed. Like Shri Param Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, preserved Shri Dham Mayapur. Srila Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj established so many centers and intense preaching. My Guru Maharaj Shri Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosai Maharaj. Publication. Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Swami Maharaj Ji, preaching in Western world. So these are the important highlights. But their glories, their mahima is not restricted only to this much. Their glories are unparalleled and unlimited, ananta, infinite. But amongst those contributions of them, one is highlighted the most. And that's why we say, oh, this acharya has performed this acharya has performed that. But actually, they all imbibed the mood of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and embraced the mood of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And they preached everywhere. Yeah. Today's auspicious day, Disappearance Day of Shri Srimad Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj. Not many years back, he left this mortal world. He used to come to my Guru Maharaj to have association and to have his darshan. Guru Maharaj used to like Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj a lot. For many reasons. But the foremost contribution, or we can say the glories of Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj, is his Naam Bhajan. Bhajan Vardhe Shreshth Navvida Bhakti Krishna Prem Krishna Dite Dhore Mahashakti तार मध्य सर्वश्रेष्ठ नाम संकीर्तन निरपराधरे नाम लय पावे प्रेमधन. Amongst all the limbs of bhakti, Naam Sankirtan is the foremost. Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, I have no etiquettes, I have shortcomings, I have no qualification to even touch his glories. Personality who always used to be very quiet and calm and always hiding himself, not exposed to the public, and always maintaining this deenheen, humble mood. An ideal example of the third verse of Shishtastakam spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Trinadapi sune chena tarorapi seheshuna amani na manadena kirtanya sadahari. One who was always and always and always and always chanting Harinam. He used to chant on his beats day and night. And the moment he feel sleepy, he used to take his mridanga, tie it on his neck, and start beating mridanga. And performing Sankirtan, even if it is midnight. Or he used to sing Ashtakams, Stavamala. So many Ashtakams are there. Sanskrit verses he knew by heart. He used to recite them, singing them. Radharani Ashtakam, Krishna Ashtakam, Giraj Govardhan, Lalita, Jamuna, all this Govardhan Ashtakam. So let us hear what Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj Ji, because he had very personal association of Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. And he served Babaji Maharaj in so many ways. Because Babaji Maharaj used to stay with Shri Srimad Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj in parikramas and other times also, in the big seminars, in the big pandal programs. So, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj had very, very close, intimate relationship with Shri Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. When we used to be with Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj, often he used to speak about him. So he compiled the life history of Babaji Maharaj, Shri Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj, in his great work, in his great book, My Beloved Masters, which is available to read, and also we have audio. I have done this audio, so if anyone wants to hear. So let us hear what Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ji has to say about Shri Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj. He started in his book, My Beloved Master, he started with his initiation. That generally Srila Prabhupada would grant Diksha mantras to aspiring devotees only on the specific recommendation of senior devotees. That was the trend, the system. The senior devotees used to recommend for any newcomer, and on the recommendation of senior devotees, Srila Prabhupada used to grant Diksha. Prior to awarding Diksha, the birth names of aspiring initiates would be noted in a register. That was the style. Let's say, suppose I want to have Diksha, and I have to come and first register my name with my legal name, means the birth name. And same thing happened with Shri Babaji Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada used to change names and giving spiritual name, and in that register which is noted, in the register Srila Prabhupada used to write or dictate and ask devotees to write spiritual names according to the alphabet, the first alphabet of the birth name, or the legal name. So Srila Prabhupada would personally choose and write a suitable Vaishnava name to confer to each aspiring devotee. On the day Srimad Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj was to receive Diksha, Srila Prabhupada had written down the name. Srila Prabhupada, right in front of his name, he wrote Shri Sarveshwar Das Brahmachari besides his previous name. When Shri Babaji Maharaj presented himself in Srila Prabhupada's quarters to receive the mantras, a devotee mistakenly told him he would not be receiving Diksha that day. And then Srila Babaji Maharaj replied, it is only appropriate that things proceed according to my adhikar, my qualification. It is quite sufficient for me to learn how to properly honor and chant the Harinam I have most mercifully received. So, you understanding the context here, what's happening? So what is the content here? That when Babaji Maharaj came in the room of Srila Prabhupada to receive mantra, a devotee by mistake, he told Babaji Maharaj that he would not be receiving Diksha today. By hearing this, Babaji Maharaj with humble mood he replied, it is only appropriate that things proceed according to my adhikar. If I am qualified, I must receive Diksha, but if I am not qualified, that's proper. It is quite sufficient for me to learn how to properly honor and chant the Harinam I have most mercifully received. Overhearing this, Srila Prabhupada heard his statement. So overhearing this, Srila Prabhupada awarded him Diksha, but changed the name he has previously written from Sarveshwar Das to Swadhikarananda, which means one who delights in his qualification. Swadhikar Ananda. From Sarveshwar Das, Srila Prabhupada changed the name to Swa Adhikarananda, because Srila Prabhupada overheard Babaji Maharaj's statement. Because Babaji Maharaj said, yes, I received a Harinam. This is according to my adhikar. So if I'm not adhikari, I'm not qualified, then I'm not able to get Diksha today. And according to my adhikar, my qualification, I think Harinam is enough. Srila Prabhupada was so impressed to hear this that immediately Prabhupada grant him Diksha and change his name, which he previously wrote as Sarveshwar Das, to Swa Adhikar Ananda Das. And what is the meaning of Swa Adhikar Ananda means? That means he who delights in his own qualification. He feels pleasure, he delight in his own qualification. Swa Adhikar Ananda. Srila Babaji Maharaj was example of simple living and high thinking. Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj used to tell, he used to wear dhoti only up till his knees, not complete. One upper cloth and dhoti, the lower cloth, only up till his knees. That's all. So simple living. Babaji Maharaj perfectly exemplified the maxim, Sada Jivan Uch Vichar. Sada Jivan Uch Vichar. That means simple living, high thinking. When the living is complicated, then thinking becomes diluted. Because then there are so many things to ponder upon. There are so many things around us to take care of. Yeah. And that's consuming time. And time is getting wasted. But if there are not many things around, and living is very simple, there's so much time to ponder upon what is spiritual world. Means high thinking. High thinking means, one can say high thinking means how I can become the president of the country. That's high thinking. Oh, how can I become the richest person of the world? It's high thinking. How can I become the famous personality of the world? High thinking. How can I become the most genius of this world? How can I get my name in the Guinness record book? High thinking. These are not high thinkings. Because all these aspects are thinking about those planes, those domains of this material world. Even thinking of becoming Indra, the king of demigods. Even thinking to become to sit on the throne of Brahmaloka, or to become the king of Sutaloka. These are not high. High thinking means anything beyond this material world, anything beyond this material universe, that's high. In other words, anything beyond the three modes of material nature: ignorance, passion, and goodness. High thinking means to get situated in nirguna state, beyond three modes of nature. High thinking means to get established in Vaikuntha. High thinking means to get established even above and higher than Vaikuntha, in Golok Vrindavan. High thinking is to even cross that layer of Golok Vrindavan, which have little tinge of opulence also present, but to enter into that Gokul Vrindavan, the innermost part of Golok Vrindavan, Gokul. So Babaji Maharaj was personified example of simple living and high thinking. On his upper body, he wore a patua, that means an armless shirt with two pockets sewn onto the front. That's very common in India years back. People used to wear that under the shirt. So no pickpocket can go there and take phone or wallet, etc. He used to wear that. And around his waist he wore a short knee-length cloth, just up to knees. In the winter he found it sufficient to wrap himself in a simple blanket and go about his business. Although he always accepted others' gifts, he rarely used them himself. Instead, he would distribute them amongst the Vaishnavas in Vrindavan. Anyone, of course, when he's moving around, devotees getting impressed to see his personality, and they used to give so many gifts to him, donations to him. But Babaji Maharaj never used to use all those gifts. He used to keep safe with him. And whenever he used to come Vrindavan, he used to distribute the Vaishnavas in Vrindavan. It's called high thinking. Srila Babaji Maharaj would say, Shri Narad Rishi instructed the hunter, Mrigari, to break and throw away his bow, give up all concerns for his livelihood, and simply perform bhajan. You all know this, so I'm not going to repeat this. Everyone know how by the message of Naraji, the hunter Mrigari, he got changed his lifestyle. He broke his bow and threw away, and simply performing bhajan to maintain his life. After promising he would arrange for all Mrigari's necessities, Shri Narad Rishi left that place. When he returned 6 months later, Mrigari said, Gurudev, please do not send so many things. Shri Dev Rishi Narad told him to use whatever he needed and distribute the rest. We heard this pastime so many times. People gave so many gifts to that hunter. But hunter, he is established in that tattva. That is not the people in general giving these gifts to me. My Gurudev is sending those gifts through these people to me. So everything ultimately coming from my Gurudev. He is established in that principle. There's a very high level of understanding. Oh, this devotee gave me watch, this devotee gave me phone, this devotee gave me clothes. But one who is established in that higher principle come to understanding. My Gurudev inspired that devotee and he is sending those things to me. It's a very higher plane of understanding. Mrigari, his life got changed by the words and the association of Naraji. So he was established that Naraji is one who is sending those gifts to me. So therefore he expressed this to his Gurudev Naraji, saying, Gurudev, please don't send so many things. This is too much. And Naraji said, Mrigari, everything is not for you. Just keep whatever is essential for you to maintain your livelihood. And distribute rest to those who are needy. Babaji Maharaj said, I have taken the lesson of this story to heart. I considered all the items people giving me as having been sent by my Guru Dev as manifestation of his mercy. This was Babaji Maharaj's principle. That's why he was, receiving all those gifts, not rejecting those. But he's thinking, all these gifts are coming to me through my Guru Dev. And this is a principle which we also have to not only understand, but to believe, and not only believe, but to firm conviction. My Gurudev is sending gifts to me. But it's not only just the matter of gifts, but my Gurudev is sending all these qualities to me so that I become capable enough to serve him or the mission of Mahaprabhu. In spiritual world, All spiritual qualities is a very simple, but for some people it's difficult to understand this principle. Aprakrit vastu nahi prakrit gochar. The transcendental being cannot be comprehended or seen with material senses or material intelligence. How with our material senses can serve transcendental personality? How? It's not possible. For that we need our senses also to get transcendental in nature to serve the transcendental entity. Understand? So who is giving us this transcendental thinking and this transcendental qualifications, means the qualities to serve transcendental personalities? You understand this procedure? Shri Gurudev is supplying that transcendental qualities in this material body. He is supplying this so that with the transcendental qualities we can able to serve transcendental personality, Krishna and the associates of Krishna. And while doing this, in that procedure, what's happening? This material senses and material mind, intelligence, with the attitude of serving transcendental beings, also develop the mood of transcendentalness. That's the system going on. So, in spiritual world, in practicing Krishna consciousness, whatever qualities we are developing, capable enough to serve the mission of Mahaprabhu, Shri Krishna, these are all assigned and donated by Guru Pad Padma, by Shri Gurudev. How much importance of Gurudev in our life is easy, but is not that easy. How much gratitude we should have for our acharyas. How much gratitude that they're giving us this seva, the opportunity of seva. That is their anukampa, that is their merciful nature. So, Shri Babaji Maharaj used to say, I never think that a particular person is giving these items to me. Rather, I consider such donors as postmen sent by my Gurudev to deliver various items on his behalf. You see, that's the vision. We don't have that vision because this is very high domain. Any person giving you gift or donation, yes, thank you so much, I need that. But Babaji Maharaj used to see, this person is a postman. These people are postmen who are supplying what my Gurudev has posted to me or send it to me. So in that, whatever I need, I keep, and whatever I have no use for, I distribute to other devotees. Is this activity that simple? Or in other words, what I wanted to say is how he's completely following the verse of Shri Rupa Goswami Pad. अत्यहार प्राशश्च प्रजल्पो नियमग्रह जन संगम लोलम च षड्भिर भक्ति विनश्यति. Collecting more than required is the cause of losing bhakti. Atyahar prayasascha. Whatever is needed, yatha yogya bhog, nahi tavarog. Be mature in understanding these facts. So by hearing this, if someone say, "Oh, I have to be very austere. I don't need to wear clothes. There's no need to eat anything. There's no need to sleep anything. In 3 days you get sick." And then ho gaya Harinam. How are you going to chant Harinam? How are you going to chant mantras? So one has to be, one supposed to function, one supposed to act according to the qualification. Don't overlap your qualification. Not anadhikar cheshta. Anadhikar cheshta means not overlapping your qualifications. Whatever adhikar you are, just remain in that, then it is Shobha, that's the beauty. Suppose if a small child, say 5-year young boy or girl, starts speaking like a maturely person, like grandfather, in the middle of a party or assembly, a small child starts speaking like elderly person. It doesn't suits to his personality. His child, his beauty, he's running here and there, making noise, etc. That is his nature. And if an elderly person, say 70-year-old man, behaving like a child, jumping from one bed to other bed and grabbing food and behaving like a child, does it suit his personality? Not at all. In the middle of the people, he has to be very sober, calm. That suits to his personality. That's called adhikar. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, in this Bhajan Vaishnav Ke, he said, Yatha Yogya Bhog Nahi Tavarog. Whatever is needed and required to maintain one's body. And that maintenance of body is there to maintain one's spiritual life, spiritual practices. Then this is justified. Anything above that, anything lower than that, no, won't solve the purpose. Then it is anadhikar cheshta. Doesn't suit to your personality. So whatever I need, I keep, and whatever I have no use, Babaji Maharaj used to distribute to devotees. Shri Babaji Maharaj, he used to have very careful detachment, carefree detachment. A Brajvasi once donated a piece of land to Babaji Maharaj in Vrindavan, Raman Reti, near ISKCON temple. A Brajvasi, a rich Brajvasi, donated a piece of land, was seeing that, oh, he's a very renounced Babaji. So he donated a piece of land to Babaji Maharaj in Vrindavan with the assistance of a few devotees. Shri Babaji Maharaj secured some construction materials like bricks, gravel, sand, stone, and cement, and had them delivered to the site. However, when he visited the land just a couple of days before the scheduled cornerstone laying ceremony, means the inauguration ceremony, the brother of the donor approached Babaji Maharaj and said, "The land my brother donated to you was not this, but actually the adjacent lot. Please construct your bhajan kutir over there, not here." You understand? A Brajvasi donated a piece of land, and Babaji Maharaj secured, he gathered some bricks, some sand to make a little small hut in that land to do his bhajan. But the next day, the brother of the donor came. He said, "Oh, actually, my brother donated you that land. This is not his land. His land is the adjacent land. That lot, not this lot. So please construct your bhajan kutir there rather than here." When Babaji Maharaj heard this, he said, "Forget it, brother. I don't want. I have no need for bhajan kutir. I don't want. My god brothers have so many places of their own, and they readily offer me shelter at their lotus feet. If I am faced with issues before the construction of my place has even begun, I can only imagine the grief I should expect in the future. Please keep this land for yourself. Hare Krishna. Babaji Maharaj immediately renounced that. Say Hare Krishna. Just before construction, if these issues are coming over my head, what's going to happen when I'll have my cottage constructed here? More issues going to, there is no time to look after this. Life is short. We have to do bhajan. And then he said, I have so many godbrothers. They are happy and ready to invite me. They're inviting me, come and stay with us. Rather, I will just go with them and happily serve them. They're ready to give me shelter at their lotus feet. I will just go and serve them. I don't need all this mess, all these issues. As Srila Babaji Maharaj turned to leave that brother, the man told him, wait, at least take all your building materials with you. You can use them elsewhere. Babaji Maharaj replied, keep them. They are now yours. I don't even need these materials. It's all yours. Keep them with you. When Babaji Maharaj told me about this incident, he remarked, the nature of material possessions is such that the greed to own them causes conflict between even brothers. Babaji Maharaj, with this incident, he concluded the nature of material world. And that is what? I think we are familiar with this and we have experienced this, and we know people around us, they're going through conflicts because of this. You see the concluding words of Babaji Maharaj with his experience? This word he shared with Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. So what he said, the nature of material possessions is such that the greed to own them causes conflict between even brothers. This is the nature of material possessions. Fight, quarrels, conflicts. Babaji Maharaj said, I also got experience. So, no material possessions. That's the nature of material world. But nature of spiritual world is totally different. Material world is a replica of a perverted form of spiritual world. The possession of spiritual world, there is no conflicts, there is no fights, there is no quarrels. The nature of the possession of spiritual world is that everyone wants to distribute. That everyone who accept or grasp want to give to others more and more. What is the nature of spiritual world? What is the nature of the possession of spiritual world? What is the possession of spiritual world? Golokera prema dhana Hari nama sankirtana. Golokera prema dhan. The wealth of Golok Vrindavan is what? Harinam Sankirtan. Not ordinary wealth. Prema Dhan. The wealth of love of Golok Vrindavan comes in the form of Harinam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Anyone who possesses this wealth, anyone who wants to distribute this wealth, anyone who wants to gather this wealth, where is the conflict? I chant 32 rounds. The neighbor, though devotee, he chants 64 rounds. What is the point of fight and conflict? Why are you chanting 64? No. So Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj used to say, because this material world is limited, that's why there are fights. And because the nature of spiritual world is unlimited, there is no fights. So he used to give a very simple example to illustrate this, to make us understand this. He said, suppose in the temple there is a feast and there are 40 brahmacharis staying in the temple, residents of the temple. And in the feast there are only 20 rasgullas to distribute amongst 40. How are we going to distribute 20 rasgullas to 40 devotees? We break it to 2 pieces and giving half to everyone. So very easily 20 rasgullas can be distributed to 40. But imagine if any one person, just one devotee, if he takes one complete rasgulla, and those who are sitting in line, they're going to stare at him and fight starts. Why he's getting prioritized? Why he's getting one and we are getting half? Why? Because the resource is limited. The resource is limited. This is Maya world, material world. And on contrary to this, Srila Maharaj said, suppose there are ample supply of rasgullas. Let's say there are 500 rasgullas and only 40 brahmacharis to eat. And a person who's distributing, see, you can demand and ask as many as you want. So he's putting, like, without even counting, 5, 10, 20, just throwing on their plates. Everyone ate, say 15, 20 rasgullas till here, up till their neck. They have no capacity to eat more. Still there are 200 left. Still, even then 200 left. What to do? We have to be distributed, otherwise it go bad. Then brahmacharis, they are requesting and telling the distributor, oh, give him 5 more, give him 2 more, or give him 3 more. No, I can't eat. No, please, Prabhu, take 5 more. Prabhu, please, Maharaj, take 3 more. Then there is no fight. What is happening there? More friendly mood, more distributing mood. Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj Ji, see how he was very sharp observant. He used to observe things because while staying in center, in his temple, he used to see all what's happening around him in the feast. And any simple, ordinary dealings happening in center or outside, Srila Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Gosai Maharaj, he used to take a great lesson out of it. And he used to add and attach with either any of Prabhupada associates or Mahaprabhu associates. That's the art of comparison. Srila Maharaj said, when there were only 20 rasgullas and 40 people to eat, there was conflict and jealousy, and there is envious mood because the resources are limited. This material world, this Maya world, resources are limited, and that's why there is conflict, fight, quarrels, even between two brothers. Even between brothers. But spiritual world, there is ample supply of resources. There is no conflict. Srila Maharaj gave example, if anyone goes to the bank of Ganga, say in Haridwar or any other place in Mayapur, Ganga is flowing. And there are like 100 devotees attending Navdeep Parikrama. So they're not going to be fight or conflict between them that how much water they can grab from Ganga. How many buckets of water? No one will complain, oh, why are you taking 2 buckets of water? Rather, everyone will encourage. They encourage each other. Take more, because supply is unlimited. Unlimited means ananta. So in ananta, where there's no end, endless, unlimited source, there is no conflict. That's spiritual world. Even one simple, this example, the teachings of Shri Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj, whose divine disappearance day we are observing today. This is, I think, more than enough to understand the nature of material world and to get acquainted with the nature of spiritual world. It's more than enough to understand. Because we, with material senses and with material intelligence, we do also get involved in these conflicts. Let's say territories. This is my territory to preach. This is my territory to preach. This is my territory to preach. What are these territories means? In India, those who are Indian, they are very much familiar of this, but those who are not, you sometimes visit Vrindavan and Navdeep and you see so many street dogs there. If you ever observe, it's very common. In one street, if there are 5 dogs, and other street have say 4 dogs, and third street have 7 dogs, one dog from other street enter in your territory, means in that territory, the dogs start barking and they run to bite him, to eat him. And they will not get peace unless they chase that dog away from their territory. So what is this? Srila Bharati Maharaji, Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj used to say this is animal mentality. It's material mentality. It's not spiritual. Unless as much as you can preach, as much as you can go, as much as you can chant, as much as you can remember, as much as you can read, there's so much to do. There is no limit. No limit. Endless. So therefore, we should always be grateful to our Diksha and Shiksha Gurudevs who are inspiring us. And on the top of that, who are giving us any service. I was actually speaking Hindi Katha right before this session, and I was sharing something with them. Service is not that which we service is not that which we steal from someone or with which we feel little ignorant about getting this. Service is something which we beg to Gurudev, to Acharyas, to Mahaprabhu, to Krishna. You see the song of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he is praying, Shri Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana. No, not in this song. Kabe habe bolo se din amar. Kabe habe bolo se din amar. There Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is begging. He is showing us. One who is always satisfying Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna, divine couple. Name hate de adhikar. He is begging for adhikar qualification to serve. Namahat. Asking this. Begging for this. That's why, even if we don't know the melody to sing songs, in our Gaudiya Giti Cochin songbook, at least we can read. The songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the songs of Narottam Thakur, the songs of Lochan Das Thakur, those bhajans itself is the complete Shastras. The mood of Shri, the scriptures of Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, the essence of those scriptures is just in the form of songs, imagine, which we can sing. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is begging for that service in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is showing us we need to beg that. Sri Narottam Thakur is begging for chastisement, which we don't like. No one wants to get chastised. But Narottam Thakur is begging for this. Henoki haibe mor priya narma sakigan anugat narottame koribe shashan. Oh, when the day will come in my life that priya narma sakigan, those sakhis of Radharani, they will chastise me. Anugat narottame. I am submissive. I am submissive to them. I am serving under their foot, under their guidance. And when the day will come when they're going to chastise me. So asking for chastisement means indirectly also asking for the service, because chastisement only comes when there is service. So seva is something which we need to beg to our Gurudevs, to our Acharyas, to our Vaishnavas. Can you please assign me one little service so that I can spend my energy, which is getting wasted and drained in activities of material world, which is limited and which is quarrel and which is full of conflicts. Please assign me some service so that I can develop some spirituality. I can develop that spiritual intelligence so that I can please my authorities. My authorities, my Gurudev and Mahaprabhu. So there are many teachings and lessons by Krsnadasa Babaji Maharaj. We just try to touch one of his teaching, and we all pray at this divine lotus feet, because he was Nam Siddha. He used to chant day and night. Day and night. And of course, anyone who's chanting so much feel tired and feel sleepy. Babaji Maharaj, whenever he used to feel sleepy, he used to get up with mridanga hanging on his neck and start beating mridanga and performing sankirtan. He don't want to sleep. He says sleeping is mode of ignorance and is wasting of time. So other title given to Babaji Maharaj was Nam Siddha. He has perfection in Harinam. That's why he became object of love for all his godbrothers. My Guru Maharaj used to love him so much. Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Gosai Maharaj and all acharyas. He was welcomed in all the centers of his loving nature, of his simplicity, and he's given us also a lesson, which is a takeaway for us for today: simple living, high thinking. When there is high living, then thinking has to be simple. But when there is simple living, thinking is high. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayvacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
The recording has stopped.